Good morning. Today we are going to talk about how to translate research papers from Ukrainian into English. So what are the problems that Ukrainian scientific style has? First of all, lots of complex sentences with multiple subclauses, parentheses, participial phrases, and usually they are very long and cause some difficulties in comprehension. The next thing is semantically empty words. So the wordy articles, the wordy papers and monographs, they need tremendously the shortening, compression, and other transformations that can be applied there. Then avoiding are phrases, using impersonal sentences with the verb in the first person plural. Подивімося, звернімо увагу, and so on. And one more thing to keep in mind is there are lots of impersonal verbs ending in no. Згадано, визначено, досліджено. It's speaking about the translation of these of the sentences containing such problems, I must say that complex sentences without multiple subclauses are very well translated, sometimes using predicative complexes, which we are going to talk about next week, and which are characteristic of the English language, and we don't have them in Ukrainian. To know how to write a research paper in English, this document is of great help for both authors and translators. So EASE guidelines for authors and translators of scientific articles to be published in English. Of course, all the research papers that we translate from Ukrainian into English are meant to be published in English. So this guide is very, very helpful. Most of the sections of this document are more for the authors because they give recommendations on how to write research papers. But there is a linguistic part which is quite important both for the authors and for the translators. Here you can see the link, and you can read the full document, and maybe you'll find some more interesting tips for translation. But I will stop upon the those that concern languages, and which is called language matters. So the first thing is about terminology. In general, I would like to say that terminology is of high importance, of greatest importance for any research paper, and our task is to do the preliminary study and read similar articles on the same subject or books, and find the best equivalence for the terms used. But wherever scientific terms are not necessary, preferably use commonly known words, the guideline says. However, avoid colloquial and idiomatic expressions as well as phrasal verbs. For example, find out, pay off, which are often difficult to understand by non-native speakers of English. So we should keep in mind that papers published in English will be read by non-speakers as well. Then, if we come across any abbreviations in the text, sometimes we may just translate the definition of them, so the full form in the beginning, and then use transliteration of the abbreviation or abbreviate between ourselves, but it often happens that it doesn't work, and it is still hard to comprehend if we make this abbreviation even defining it in the very beginning, and then we use the full form of the whole word combination throughout the text. But the requirements of the guidelines is to define abbreviations when they first appear in the main body of the article, if they may be unclear to readers. Do not use too many different abbreviations, as the text would be hard to understand. Do not abbreviate terms that are used only rarely in your manuscript. Avoid abbreviations in the abstract. It's been discussed and disputed what to use, present perfect or past simple, when we speak about something which has been tested or studied and so on. And these guidelines give a clear answer to this question and recommend to use the past tense when describing how you performed your study and what you found or what other researchers did, and preferably use the present tense in general statements and interpretations. For example, statistical significance, conclusions, and so on. Or when writing about the content of your article, especially tables and figures. So we can see that in terms of tenses, the grammar is pretty simple in research papers, and we mostly use present indefinite or simple and past simple for that purpose.